before I secure everything in place, I just need to make sure that all the cabinets are level. They're all level across the back because they're on the rail. Mainly the level I'm talking about is front to back level. And the way you adjust all these is with the legs that we're about to attach. Before we level any of these, I'm gonna go ahead and attach them all together. Okay, so I've got all the legs on now, and I've checked level, and the only place that needs a little adjustment is right here, where this corner cabinet connects with this 18-inch cabinet. Everything else was dead on level, which is surprising. Usually you have a lot more adjustment than that, so we just lucked out. So I'm just gonna raise the legs up a little bit, and that should level this one out. So now that everything is level and secure to the wall, we just need to add all the doors and drawer fronts to all the cabinets. And we're still missing a couple of these glass fronts. So we're gonna do everything we can that we have here. And I realize I've been saying we a lot doing all this, and I probably sound like a crazy person. I guess it's the royal we because I'm the only one here. Amanda's been missing a lot from videos here lately. She also volunteers for an animal rescue, and she's had a lot to do with that here lately. So that's the reason she hasn't been here while I was putting these cabinets in. When it comes to putting the doors and drawers together, there's really no wrong way to do it. My personal method is I tend to just go around the room. And you may find it easier to focus on just one thing, like putting all your doors on first, then all your drawers. However you want to do it's fine. The reason I've always kind of gone around the room is to make sure I don't miss anything. In the plan for your room, Ikea divides this up by each wall, so it makes it easy to go just around the room putting them together. They give you the layout with the doors and drawers on and off, so you can see what's inside the cabinet. This makes it really easy to know that this is the cabinet I'm starting with. It's gonna have 2 shelves inside. And once you know the cabinet you're doing and the size it is, you just go over to the list of each cabinet and it'll tell you every piece that needs to be included in that. The part of your hinge that attaches to the cabinet, it might be a little confusing which way you have to turn this, but if you look really closely, Ikea does give you a little arrow on it. That arrow goes to the outside of your cabinet. One thing I am going to leave off for the time being is the Lazy Susan carousel that goes inside this cabinet and the one that goes in this corner cabinet. The reason I'm going to leave them off is because we're installing a laminate countertop. It'll be mitered 45 in the corners, and I'll need to have access in this cabinet to lock it into place. With that Lazy Susan in there, it'll be a lot of trouble to take it out in order for me to crawl in that cabinet and attach the countertop from below. The next cabinet in our run is actually a set of drawers, so it'll install a little bit different as well. Like all of Ikea stuff though, you'll have to completely assemble the drawers from scratch. Even though Ikea does make you completely assemble the drawers, they make it pretty easy for you. There's not a lot that you have to do here other than just snap these things together. These three pieces snap together pretty quick to make the inside frame of the drawer. One way that you can quickly tell which way they go is you're going to need a channel for the bottom to fit into. So you can see they only have a channel on one side. So if you turn this channel towards the inside of the drawer, you know you got them all facing the right direction. Then we just slide the bottom into the frame. A quick way to make sure you got this facing the right direction, the groove side will go down because it'll fit on this rail, and only one edge is finished. The finished edge will go in the front. Ikea includes these soft close dampers for all your drawers. It's got a little mechanism that catches on the drawer and slowly lets it close so you don't slam your drawers when you shut them. And these just attach on to the drawer glides before you put the drawer in place. little difficult last time getting this double door section on in one piece. So I'm gonna try it just putting one piece on, then attaching the doors together. I think it may make it a little easier. Okay, with all the doors and drawer fronts now on the cabinets, you can kind of see what they're going to look like. I do still have to put the side panels on, both the bottoms and the tops. On the cover panel for the lower cabinets, there's really not a lot of work that has to be done on these. All you really have to do on these is just clamp it to the side of the cabinet and attach it with some screws from the inside. And that's it. On the upper ones, we'll have to do some cutting, get them to fit, because they're always a little bit oversized because there's different size upper cabinets. But for these lower ones, they're all the same size, so all you have to do is attach them. So these are the cover panels we chose for the upper cabinets. Isn't it pretty? This isn't actually the color of them. This is a protective film they put on these to keep the finish from getting scratched until you're done with your kitchen. It's actually a high gloss white, but you'll have to wait to see it because I don't want to take this off until everything's done in the kitchen. I'm sure most everyone does this the same way, but when you're installing the cover panels on these cabinets and you're putting them on all the sides, you're gonna have a cut edge that's exposed somewhere, and I just choose to put mine up at the very top. By doing that, the only way you'd ever see is if someone was on a ladder looking down at the top of the cabinet. Maybe it'll make more sense once I get them all on there. Then I can show you. And you want to do everything possible to protect the finish. Leaving this protective film in here will help some. Anytime you're gonna make a cut in this, I recommend to use some sort of painter's tape to protect that finish as much as possible. And I'm cutting this on a table saw, but if you were going to try to cut this with a circular saw, I even recommend flipping the material upside down and measuring it from the back and cutting it from the back side. Because when you're using a circular saw, it actually cuts the opposite way that your table saw is cutting. Whereas the blades underneath here cutting up, with a circular saw you'd be on top cutting down. So when the blade turns, it's always going to blow out the back side of whatever it's cutting. So if you had your finished side up, as that blade turned, it would be blowing out your finished side. Since we're using a table saw, I can have the finished side up, but I still am going to tape it. I'm going to take the protective coating just off the back side because once I put it up here, I would never be able to get it off again. Now that I've got the bottom and the top pieces on, you can kind of see what I mean by you're gonna have this unfinished edge where I cut it. You'll have it here and at the top, but you won't have to see that because I'm gonna put a cover panel on each side and that'll hide that. So the only cut edges I'll have are where I cut these side pieces, and I'll point those up where you won't be able to see them. You'll have to use your imagination a little bit, but you can see now this side panel on each side covers up that cut edge I had at the bottom, and the only cut edge I have is up here at the very top on this side panel. Underneath here, this is a finished edge. Over here, this is a finished edge, and the whole side on this side is finished as well. So that's our frosted doors on the uppers. It'll be the same thing on this side as soon as they come in. Just waiting for Ikea to get those back in stock. Everything else is done in here. I do have to put all the handles on everything, and I'm gonna do that first thing in the morning. And there's really not a lot to putting handles on stuff. It'll vary depending on which handles you get, but essentially it's drilling 2 holes and putting 2 screws in. So I don't know if I'm gonna include that in this video. In fact, as much as I hate to end it with that being unfinished, I may end this one right here, but definitely I'll have the big reveal of this kitchen coming soon, as well as the entire house, because we are almost done. We just have the finishing touches left now. Again, thank you guys so much for watching.